Good morning and welcome to this lecture of Product Design Engineering Part 2. In previous lecture, we were discussing about product architecture, right? Am I audible to you? Can anyone just give me feedback? Am I audible? Yes, okay. So, in last lecture, we were discussing about product architecture, right? So we will continue that concept in today's lecture also. So let me share the presentation with you so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. Okay. Can anyone tell me, is this presentation visible to you? Anyone? Yes. Okay. So what we will do, we will just quickly rewind what we have discussed in previous lecture on Friday, and according to new timetable, we will have lectures continuously today and tomorrow. So it is a type of advantage to you also, because you don't have to remember the previous lecture from long time ago. Okay, so we were discussing about product architecture. I have told you about architecture, what is the significance of architecture in product design or in mechanical engineering, or rather design. Okay, so basically architecture means practice of design and construction, and product architecture is a philosophy or term which relates with the design and construction of products, consumer products, basically. Okay. So we have discussed about product development process. We have seen that planning is the first step, and before planning we have to get the idea or concept or issue or problem that we have observed. Then we have to go to concept generation methods that we have discussed. Then we go to system level design. Then we go to detailed design of the product or the system, and we go for testing and refinement of that particular thing, and finally we ramp up for the production of the product that we are going to develop. Okay, we have already discussed the definition. Let me just remind you a process. Product architecture is a process by which customers need are developed in product design. Already we have discussed about it. Okay, and we were discussing about considerations at product architecturing. So what are the things that we need to consider while we are having architecturing on the product? Okay, so basically what I have told you in earlier lecture or in earlier slides about architecture. Architecture is the practice of design and construction. Okay, so how we are going to design, how we are going to construct our product. For that reason, what are the different considerations we should have, that is discussed in this particular presentation. Okay, if you can read the points here. Basically, what the first point tells us, how will it affect the ability to offer product variety. If you have a product, you may or may not have the variety. Basically, whenever a single product you are manufacturing, you must have the variety to satisfy the customer needs, because uh, suppose you have a product and you want to market it, you can't market it for a particular type of customer. Okay, yes, Vishal, anything you want to say? You raised your hand. If you want to say something, just unmute yourself and speak. Let me check what he is trying to say. By mistake. Okay. Okay. In each lecture, every one of one of the person from you does this mistake. You raise their hand. Okay. So let us come to the point. So what we were discussing, the product architecture that you are going to practice, the design and construction, is it going to affect the product variety that you are providing to your customer? I told you one example of mobile phones. Before this lockdown and all this stuff of COVID, there were almost new model was coming of mobile phones in every month, at least in 3 months. So every company, every industry of or every manufacturer of mobile phones were using this product variety strategy on very large scale. So they were adding some features to their mobile phones and adding some different kind of things so that their products will satisfy large number of customer. Keep this in mind always that you cannot satisfy 100% of your customers or 100% of your target customers rather, because whenever you are planning for a product to sell it or to market it, you must know whom you are going to address. Rather, you can also say that while designing also you have to consider that who is going to purchase your customers. Okay, so if you take an example of mobile phone again, you can have different types of mobile phone companies, industries having targeting the large mass scale of the population, uh, which is concerned which has the concern about cost only. So in India, whenever a person goes to buy a product or a thing, the first thing in his mind is always the cost. He wants everything at the lowest cost, right? This is the first case. Now, in that also, you have different categories. Some of them will would like to spend much more price compared to other for their features. Some of them won't like to make the expenses on these features. So you have to be very careful while choosing the target customers so that you can offer different variety of products. So basically you have to design like taking into considerations about your product variety, whether this product architecturing while designing and constructing your product or designing and constructing the product by using these customer feedbacks or whatever the survey you have or your company has made, that is going to affect the variety of your product, that you have to consider. Okay. Next thing is, how will it affect the product cost? Because as I have told, in India at least, as we know, the first consideration for any product is cost. If your product is cost effective, people are going to buy it. We can take the example of Chinese product. Okay, Chinese products are produced on a very large mass scale. That is why they are purchased at very low price as compared to our product. Let the quality part be aside for a while. Can you see that in this case, Indian people, the mentality of the most of the people in India is about cost only. So it is true for everything. If they are going to buy groceries also, they will try to get the thing in the lowest cost. They will ask, even if you go to any shop, you have to take something for eating. You would first see the price tags, or you will first ask them, what is this? What is the price of this? and what is the price of this. Tell me that, and then tell me the features. This is how we experience in our day-to-day life. This is our mentality. You can't deny. So you have to consider this in very large scale, because the cost of product is the most important thing in India. Okay, so you have to consider while designing and architecturing or designing and constructing a product, will this method of designing, will this method of architecturing will affect the product cost, will it increase the product cost? You have to see that. Okay, now Wagmare, Nikhil, can you please stop your camera? I'm getting distracted. Okay, thank you. So we are discussing about product cost. So whenever you go to shop, you ask first for the cost of the product, then you ask for the features, then you ask for colors and everything. Okay, so this is how we have to think, because this design and architecturing, product architecturing strategy takes some cost usually, and that cost is added to the final cost of product, because you can't neglect it. You have to say spend resources, you have to spend time, you have to spend money, right? So this particular thing of product architecturing has some cost associated with it, and you have to take that cost into consideration while deciding the final product cost. So you must consider, will it affect the final product cost? Okay. Third point is, will it affect the design lead time? Okay, I already told you about lead time, I guess. Lead time means when you order a product from a particular company. Let's take an example of Amazon or online shopping portals. When you order a product from any of this website, and within 7 days or 8 days or whatever the time period is it takes, you take the delivery of the product. That time period between ordering and taking the delivery is called as lead time. So this is the lead time in ordering and all these things. It is what is the design lead time? Okay, lead time, I think you have understood what is lead time. Okay, ordering and taking the delivery, the time between these two events is called as lead time. Okay, now what is the design lead time? So design lead time is whenever you make innovation or make idea or create an idea of a product or a design. When you get the idea, you finalize the idea for the product. Okay, that is one event, and complete final stage of manufacturing of that product. These two events are there, and the time between these two events is called as design lead time. Are you getting it? There are two events, the concept generation event and final production event. Okay, so these two events are there, and the time between these two events is called as lead time of design. Okay, now what we have to discuss, we have to consider will it affect the design lead time? If the design lead time is more, it is getting more and more and more, what will happen? The launch of your product in the market will get postponed, right? It will get some time. So there is a fear of losing the market. If you see the example that I have told you about the mobile phones, what we were told, the mobile phone says that the companies tries to bring new model every month or at least in 3 months. Okay, why they are doing this? They want to capture the market. Okay, they don't want to lose the customer, because nowadays the choices of the customers are changing rapidly. Let me tell you another example for this. when in 1990s and I guess in 80s also, India had only one two-wheeler company that was known as Bajaj. So to purchase a scooter from Bajaj, you have to wait for 1 or 2 years. In some cases, 5 or 6 years also. You have to go to the showroom or wherever their office is. You have to order that particular scooter. You make the payment and you get the delivery in 1 to 5 years. So that was the lead time of product delivery at that time, right? So how this product variety scenario was there? There were no product variety, only one type of product, and everyone was using it. So would it be boy or girl or aged, matured people, adults, whoever is going to use, they have to use the same motorcycle, scooter, sorry, right? So this is how the scenario was. But now, what is the scenario? You can go on website, you can check the specifications, you can see when they can give the delivery of the motorcycle or scooter. There are some segments in that for girls special, for boys. They have some specific schemes for that also. So this is how is it going to affect the design lead time, we have to consider. And finally, how will it affect the development process management? Again, we are looking into the management of the process. Product architecture is a process, right? We design, we practice of design and construction of product. So if it is a practice, you have to manage it. It will have some steps. Then somebody should manage it, right? So this is how process management comes to occurrence. Now what we have to see? We have to see whether this product architecture philosophy or what are the methods that we are using in that, are they going to affect the total process? This is how we have to consider product architecture. Now, let us move to the next point. There are two types of architecture. One is called as modular, second one is called as integrated or homogeneous architecture. Okay, just a minute. Okay, okay, we have some time. So in product architecture, we got two types of architecture types. One is called as modular, another is called as integrated or homogeneous. So what is modular and what is integrated, that we are going to discuss. Okay. So before that, I would like to show you something. Just 1 minute. Okay, this was an example that I wanted to show you, modular architecture, so that we can discuss again on this. This is a trolley type, some kind of trailer or trolley. Okay, this could be used in agriculture or somewhere in the cities also. Okay. So what are the different parts of this trailer you can observe? If you can see this cursor here, there is a box which protects the cargo from weather. There is a cargo or material in it. Okay. So this is a box. This box, what does it do? It protects the cargo from the weather. Whether it could be rainy season or it could be sunlight, wind, whatever it is. Okay. Then there is hitch, that part which connects to the vehicle. Let me minimize this. Okay. Then there is bed, which there is fairing, minimize air drag. This fairing, air drag minimize करण्यासाठी. Then there is bed, or you can call it a part on the chassis, right, which supports the cargo load. Now this chassis will have some spring leaves type of spring. You can observe here, these springs will help to take the load. Springs and wheels are there to transfer load to the road, as well as to take the cargo in the direction whenever we want to take. So this is called as modular architecture. We are going to discuss in detail also. Just I wanted to show how this architecture or modular architecture is being considered. Now look at this same example. The same example is with different type of shape. Okay. Now see, it has upper half, protects cargo from weather, also supports cargo load, also suspend trailer structure. Okay. It is going to 3 points. You can see that. Lower half, it protects cargo from weather. Also, lower half also does the same. It also supports cargo loads. It also suspends trailer structure. Nose piece, it connects to the vehicle, minimize the air drag, supports cargo load. Cargo hanging strap, it supports cargo load. Spring slot covers, protects cargo from weather. Wheels transfer load to the road. Okay, so I hope you have got the just idea of integral architecture as well as modular architecture. We are going to discuss in detail also about this, but I just wanted to show the examples so that you can differentiate between modular and integrated or homogeneous architecture. So if you compare these two, the first thing you observe that in modular architecture, the components or the parts or the pieces of this particular construction are used for, are considered for only one purpose, whereas in this case, in integrated architecture, every part has different types of works. This is how modular and integrated architectures are differentiated. Okay, so now let's move to the basic part of this. Just a minute. Okay, modular versus integrated architecture. Okay, I think only 3 minutes are remaining. So what we will do, I will just stop this sharing because there will be next lecture and I have to take the attendance also. So is any confusion regarding the concept that I have told today? We have discussed. If you have any feedback or anything you want to know, can anyone ask? Anything you want to know about this? You can ask through unmuting yourself, or you can just send me the message. That would be great. Okay, so I guess there are no issues. Understood. Okay, fine. So the part of modular and integrated architecture will be discussed in next lecture because the time has over and there will be next lecture also. So I will just stop here. What we will do, I will take the attend us and we will stop the lecture.